Hello, my name is Sebastian Restrepo, and I will be presenting to you guys the role of emergency management in both planning and mitigating climate change and sea level rise. The main concerns of climate change are increased drought, and a result is wildfires, stronger hurricanes due to an increased ocean temperature, and sea level rising due to the melting of ice caps due to greenhouse gases, and extreme hot and cold weather. There has been an increase in 1.4 degrees in Fahrenheit of the global temperature since 1880. Not only this, but California's climate is meant to be dry. However, in 2014 to 2015, they were the hottest recorded years in the state's history. In the graph to the left, you can see that the precipitation on top is typically below average, and it's been consistent like that since 1950. However, the temperature was originally below average. However, it is increasing in the past 20 years to be an above average temperature. This causes more devastating wildfires, such as the one that occurred in 2018, making it the state's most devastating wildfire. A way to mitigate these California wildfires is for emergency managers to adjust to larger wildfires and more frequent wildfires. Not only this, but having lawmakers have a certain regulation for agriculture that requires dry fields to be wet to prevent wildfires. Stronger hurricanes is also something that we have been experiencing for the past 5 years or so with, Hurricane Irma and most recently with Hurricane Michael. Hurricane Michael was the hurricane with the third lowest pressure recorded at 919 millibars. And typically, the lower the pressure, the stronger the hurricane is, and the more devastating it can be. With an increase in warm waters in the Atlantic, these warm waters act as fuel for the hurricanes, and in the past century, ocean waters has increased by 1 degree in Fahrenheit. And not only this, but sea level rise also has a very big devastating factor to this, because storm surge and flooding is the main component of destruction when it comes to hurricanes. As a way to mitigate these stronger hurricanes, building codes and construction materials will have to change in order to prevent the damage and losses of life. With storm surge and flooding being the main factors of damage, creating regulations for houses near the coastline to be raised is something that should definitely be considered. An increase in sea level rise is also a very threatening factor, as the ocean absorbs 90% of atmospheric heat, which has been causing glaciers and ice caps to melt and therefore raise in sea level. With the raise in sea level, we have the threat of certain coastal cities such as Florida, Louisiana, and even some islands in the Pacific to eventually be underwater. In the left, you can see that from 1880 to now, there has been a steady increase in sea level. In order to try to prevent the rising sea level, we need to enact laws that prohibit greenhouse gases to be emitted, as well as other human-related emissions, and to try to protect our carbon footprint and reduce it as much as possible. Extreme weather, both hot and cold, is another issue that has been occurring more recently, as recent as January this year with the polar vortex all across the United States, and in 2017 when there had been record-setting heat and drought in the Southwest. The dangers of extreme weather come from people being unprepared and confused on their plan of action. Even though it is unlikely for extreme hot and cold weather to occur in certain places, having a plan for the community for both extreme hot and cold weather is ideal to minimize confusion and casualties in order to make emergency managers' jobs easier.